Greetings. Welcome to CLB Live Interactive Convos with Creative Thinkers. My name is Christine L Bowen, also known as CLB, and I'm your host this evening here to facilitate another timely convo on a topic that will help us to navigate through these challenging times that we are all experiencing together. Before we dive into tonight's conversation and I introduce my very special guest, allow me to invest just a few moments with you to help you get the most out of tonight's experience, okay? Now, first and foremost, what is in your cup? If you don't have a cup of something, now is your chance to go grab it. Why? Because this is a laid back, it's a serious convo, but it's a laid back convo. I want you to feel relaxed. So grab your cup of whatever. I see someone said they wash their hands. I know that's right. So what's in my cup? I'm drinking chai, caramel chai something. It's so good. It's so good. That's all I know. So whatever's in your cup, there is no judgment. Just have something that you can sip on, okay? And also want to encourage you to grab a notepad and a pen or a pencil because I'm almost 100% sure that you're going to glean something. Something's going to hit your soul. And that means that it was a message for you tonight. And so my encouragement is to jot those thoughts down, jot those ideas down, jot down the inspiration so that you can meditate on it, reflect on it, and see how you can fully apply it in your life, okay? Now, if you are watching this live, thank you so much for being here with me tonight live. This is what really wets my whistle. I really love the live engagement, and you are probably tuned in one of two ways. First and foremost, we are broadcasting live via Listen Vision Studios in Washington, D.C. That is the home of CLB Live, and we are broadcasting to over 125 countries globally right now on WLVSradio.com. That is radio you can watch. I'm so excited because it's a collective, it's a global collective, and quite honestly, that's what I think we need right now, to combine our energies so that we can help each other get through this together. If you're watching on YouTube, that means you are tuned in via CLBLive.tv, and that means that you are part of the interactive experience. What does that mean? You get to participate live. You can share your comments, you can share your thoughts, your ideas, your inspirations. You can help shape this conversation. This is not a we talk, you listen. This is not an interview. This is a conversation, and you're a part of it. So I encourage you to share your thoughts. I will do my best to stay on top of the comments and share them on the screen as we go along. I will be sure to also read your comments so that our lovely guests can also hear what you have to share, because she can't see them, but I'll certainly share them with her, okay? So tonight, we are talking about a very timely topic. You know, during this time, we have either seen, heard, or may have even spoken about this new normal, something that is to come, like there's a future time that we are pushing towards. And while we all want to get past this point, my point is the only time we really have is right now. And that's one of my favorite quotes. That's pulled from one of my favorite quotes, Eckhart Tolle, who one of the most impactful books I've ever read, called The Power of Now. He says, realize deeply that the present moment is all we ever have. So tonight, my guest and I will be sharing nuggets of wisdom. We'll be starting a conversation on how we can redirect our focus to the present moment and help us to fully realize that the time to create our new is right now, okay? And how do we do that? Last week, we started this conversation with my treasured guest, Teresa Lacaraza. We spoke about the miracle of mindfulness, and we spoke about using that method, mindfulness, to become present, how to remain present. And tonight, we're talking about the active side of it. When I first relaunched CLB Live back in February, The topic was dreamers and doers, and we were talking about dreams, and we all have these dreams in our heart. And with the introduction of this global pandemic, many of us feel like those dreams were like out the window. I know I felt that way. I felt like all the plans I made for CLB Live were just like squashed in a heartbeat, and I almost threw my hands up. However, a voice came to me and said, "This is the time for you to continue to broadcast. This is the time. Now is the time." And so tonight's guest is someone who is near and dear to my heart. And I'm going to introduce her properly, and then we're going to bring her on screen so we can get this conversation going. So Regyna Cooper is a wife, a mother, a pastor, a strategist, and an author. Her passion is helping others find success by birthing their dreams while living a resilient life. As CEO of Maxer Group, she coaches and advises leaders by helping them achieve the success they envision. She is blessed to be the author of Miscarriage of a Dream, In Pursuit of Purpose, contributing author in the Amazon best-selling book, The Queen's Legacy, contributing author in Contentment Connection, 75 Ways to Grow Joy and Satisfaction. That's the Entrepreneur Edition. And she's also the publisher of From Crackers to Caviar, a guide to personal development, one of my personal favorites. Regyna is a co-pastor of Restoration International Christian Ministries in Towson, Maryland, with her husband, James R. Cooper, where they are called to help God's uncommon leaders to be equipped, empowered, and restored to their called positions in the kingdom. She lives her dreams by helping clients with innovative, faith-based, action-oriented results. Her diverse background gives her a wonderful perspective when providing solutions and helping others to overcome roadblocks. And on a personal note, Regyna Cooper is a dear divine connection, someone I met almost 10 years ago. Where does the time go? And along the way, she's not only been a divine connection and a true friend, she's also been a spiritual guide for me, especially in the professional journey that I am on in my vocation and in living in my purpose. So I'm really excited to have her return to CLB Live. She has appeared on the show several times, but it's been a few years. So without further ado, let me bring this beautiful face on the screen. Welcome. Welcome, Regyna.
Yes,
How are you, honey?
I am wonderful and I am so happy to be here with you.
I'm so excited because you know how we flow. You know
I
how,
know, I know. It's been
time.
so long.
Yeah, but you know what? When we come together, it's like time never passed,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
You
so
know,
I am thrilled to have you here. You look lovely tonight.
thank you and so do you as always. And I am
Thank you.
thankful to be here with you on CLB Live.
Yes, honey. So before we jump into this creating our new now, what's in your cup? Do you have a cup of something?
I have a cup. Let's see. I have a cup. My cup started as ginger tea,
Ooh.
and then I decided I needed some water, and I left the ginger tea in the other room. So I have water.
You know what? H2O is what I had last week. That's the best. That's the best thing we can have in our cup, right?
There you go.
Thanks for playing along. So, we have a few troopers that are plugged into our interactive experience. Let me just give them a shout out. We have your beautiful, beautiful other half, James Cooper. He said he washed his hands to be here. And he says hello. Thank you so much for plugging in, Pastor Cooper. We're thrilled to have you here with us. We also have Jaleese Littlejohn. She's our returning interactive viewer, and she says it sounds amazing. So she's looking forward to the conversation. For those of you who I cannot see your comments, you are not left out. I'll be sure to circle back on WLVS or on the internet. You can use the hashtag CLBLive.tv on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Both Regyna and I are on social media, so we'll be sure to look out for your comments and engage with you throughout the week. Because, like I said, we start tonight, this conversation, but it doesn't end tonight, okay? So, Regyna, you know how we roll. We're talking about creating your new now. You heard my little
Yes.
introduction, so you know
Yes.
my feelings on it. So let's bring you into this conversation because what I like about your bio is you're action oriented.
Yes.
Action oriented. So before we jump into the action piece, what's your take? Because I don't think I've really asked you this in our offline conversations. What's your take on what's happening right now in this world? And because it's easier said than done to be present. Am I right? What's your take
Yes, it
on
is.
this?
It is. It is a weird time because it's so much uncertainty
Yes.
and people don't know whether they're up or down, going left or right. And that short having that sure-footedness of which is never really there, but we have an assumption and we believe it. So it is all in what we believe and what you see. So the interesting thing for me is watching and seeing how people are being swayed based on what they truly believe and what they see as possible.
Hmm.
So it's the pandemic itself can be extremely frightening if you look at just part of the numbers, but you see a lot of people are recovering. And it's terrifying to lose people and not know if you could be one of those people.
Yes.
But the blessing also is there are many, many, many people who are walking around who are doing fine, getting beyond and thankful to have another day. So
Amen.
it makes you, as we were speaking, in this moment, you have life, you have breath, you have family, you are here. So what are you going to do with it?
Amen to that. And that brings us to being present. And it's for me, speaking from my point of view, it's a daily experience because the
Yes,
emotions, even as I mentioned last week's conversation, even for those of us who may have been on this spiritual path and have been exercising faith and, as you say, seeing, choosing to see the positive side of things and the grateful side of things. In other words, we're alive, we're here, we're still breathing, we can still achieve. At the same time, the emotions are still there, and it's
yeah, there's
navigating. It's navigating on a daily. I mean, throughout
yes,
one day, I'm
yes,
literally going on a roller coaster.
yes, yes.
Some days better than others.
Yeah, and it's been interesting because this journey and what we've gone through spiritually, even before we got to this point,
Hmm.
a lot of the things we've walked through as entrepreneurs have been uncertain and having to go through day and having to learn how to be in that present place
Yes.
and expect and walk out what you believe you're supposed to be doing and your calling and your dreams in spite of what it looks like when you have no money in your bank account and not knowing where your next dollar is coming from or how you're going to make it, the next day is
Yes.
what people are going through right now. So it's interesting as entrepreneurs watching this journey unfold.
Yes. So you're saying watching as entrepreneurs, watching others who may not have been on that
Yes,
path.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. There's definitely an awakening that's happening amongst people
Mhm.
who may have had this dream in their heart but have been
Yes,
afraid to take that step. This is
yes,
like the wake up call, right?
yes, yes. And it's what is your, like we were saying, your new normal? Is it your new normal? Every day is a new normal.
Yes.
Realistically, every morning you get up, it's a new day to experience and decide how you're going to receive that day and
Amen.
what you're going to do with that day.
Yes.
So I
Oh,
think it's making people look even more at that each morning and being thankful to be there. And what do, in this moment with your family and children being home with their parents where you had all these things we were doing before, running around trying to be this, trying to do that.
yes.
Now it is what is important to me.
Yes. Yes. And it's as if we are being asked that question. We are
daily.
being asked the question. So
Yes.
because we haven't, and when I say we, I'm just speaking collectively,
Hmm.
we haven't slowed down enough as a society to be present, to explore these types of things. We've forgotten
Yeah.
about the simplicity of life. We've forgotten about the timelessness that actually exists in the present moment, right?
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
don't know about you, but these days are like where's the time
Yes.
going?
Yes. Yes.
It's just
And
that you go ahead.
as it's interesting, I was watching someone, I think it was Sunday, and it was snowing in Syracuse. It's snowing in May. And
I,
then the next day, it's going to be 80 degrees here in Maryland at the end of this week.
yes.
It's like, okay, what do you do with that? It's not about planning it out. It's like, it's here. What are you doing in this moment? How do you press forward? I had
Yes.
plans to do this, and the plans all of a sudden changed. So how do you decide? How do you prioritize your life when you feel like your life is coming at you? Or do you decide I am going to move forward like this because I still have a plan. I
Mm,
still believe there is hope. There are that are out there for me to fulfill, whether I am self isolating, whether I'm going through an illness, whatever it is, we're still pressing forward because there is another day of hope.
yes. You're touching on a key word there. Hope. Hope to me, honestly, is what's keeping me going every
Yeah.
day. And on a personal tip, I see hope in my new nephew's eyes. Every time I FaceTime with him, he's only 3 months old, but wise beyond his years. And he actually looks into my eyes and communicates with me.
Mhm.
And that's hope for me. It's like he's my
Yeah.
angel to remind me
Yes.
of what to be
Yes.
focused on. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes. It is. It is.
Yes, yes,
And look, and it is that new life, that new birth, that new being
yes.
that gives us the reason to keep going also. Like it's an ever evolving, and I think that's what we're seeing more now, and this because it's so in our faces now,
Hmm.
we appreciate.
Okay, she froze just a little bit. Can you still hear me, Regina? Okay, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think I was saying just to be able to see your nephew via technology, and to have that connection still,
Yes.
that is such a blessing in itself.
It is. It is. Yes, so there are so many things that are reminding us to be present right now.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the weather changing, and yes, that does keep us on our toes. Because I dressed for summer today, or the beginning, because it's almost Memorial Day. So I'm in my summer whites, and I'm walking outside with open toe shoes, and I'm like, oh nope, I got to turn back and get a coat. It's like, nope, not today. Because there are a
Now
lot of
look,
assumptions we make in
yes.
life, right?
Yes, I did the exact opposite yesterday. I went outside with a wool jacket and a hat on, and it was like, it is burning up out here.
Right. So nature is keeping us on our toes. It's keeping us present, and it's challenging us to say, okay, don't take for granted that today's going to be like yesterday, or today's going to be the way you think it's going to be. So I love that it's keeping us on our toes. Now, on a more serious note, how are we navigating um, the challenging side of it? As we said, there are the highs where we're focused on hope and our dreams, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But I'd like to address for those people who maybe have lost loved ones through this pandemic. Like you said, many of us are fearful for our own lives through this pandemic. Many people are perhaps struggling with finances. There's so many things that we are struggling with right now. How do we navigate that? What are your thoughts on that?
I have this principle of what is happening now, I do today. What I can control now, I do. Worrying about the next thing before it's there. James and I talk about this a lot about how we worry about so many things that never come to pass. So and coming from a financial background is interesting. I used to say I had to have a credit score of this. My
Mm,
credit score needs to be this to make sure it's all secure and I can do everything I want to do. in the middle of a pandemic and everyone, you know, 25% of America has credit and money issues going on right now.
Yes.
When we get to the other side of this, no one's going to say, oh, because you didn't pay your bill on time during the pandemic, you cannot have.
Mm.
So that worry that I will not be able to move forward in my dreams or my pursuits because of something that's happening right now in this moment may not ever come to pass for the majority of people. And then recognizing those places that you are recognizing that fear, it is going through, not avoiding.
Mm.
Recognizing the fear, recognizing the doubt, recognizing the uncertainty, and
Mm.
where you and understanding and placing yourself there to understand what it's doing to you in that moment. So when you get to the other side and you look back, it's a lesson learned. Was it rational? Did it make sense? Did I do anything to make it better, make it worse?
Mm.
Because if you continue to think on the negative, you can continue to bring that negative. You It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, it
So
certainly is. Because you're what we focus on expands. And
yes,
so the
yes,
more we focus on the fear and the struggle and the lack, even
yes,
the disease,
yes,
it brings more of that to our consciousness. I
yes,
love what you
yes,
shared about recognizing the fear and facing it, because most people, it's a natural human tendency. We want to run and hide. Yeah. Your
right.
beautiful hubby just addressed that. Recognize the fear, then address it. And that's
Mm,
something that I personally also have been experiencing through this process, is a lot of self realizations have been happening for me. Just both positive and negative, if we want to label it. However, I've been discovering so many things about myself. As someone as progressive as I thought I was, right? My ego was knocked down a couple of chips. It's like, you don't have it all together, okay? There's some things that you must still continue to work on, to grow and to recognize and realize. So it's not all, tonight's conversation, and please share if you agree with me on this, is not all about professional pursuit when we talk about
right.
creating our new. Is that right?
Correct. Correct. Because it is strengthening who you are. This Any struggle that you go through will strengthen you as you go through it. But
Yes.
you have to go through it. And a lot of times we've learned in this microwave, get it quick or avoid or present just what you want to present. Society we've been able to skirt around the sides and not really go all the way through. So people end up stuck in the place a lot longer than necessary.
Yes.
Bite the bullet, go through it, if you want to work out, if you want to lose weight, you have to work out. You have to change your eating habits.
Yes.
And when you first start, it's the worst thing ever because you want all those things you've had before. But then when your palate changes,
Mm-hmm.
your energy level changes, and it gets to this place where I feel better because of what I took myself through. And now I see the results of what I've been through. And I
Mm-hmm.
can stand on the truth of knowing what I went through and what I had to go through to get to this place. You can't take that away from me anymore. I know what I know about this process now.
Yes.
And too many of us are depending on what we hear on the news or what we hear from people or society in different places instead of knowing what we know about ourselves. We're all unique beings and we go through things differently. We handle things differently. Something that presses me and stresses me may not stress another person. It's a different person's journey. So I can't
Yeah.
take away from theirs no more than they can take away from mine, but they can encourage me where they're stronger and I can encourage someone else where I am.
Amen
And
to that.
I think it's that part of us, the community of coming together through this is one of the things that may enrich us when we get to the other side,
Mm.
whenever that may be.
Yes. And that Mr. Cooper says, what doesn't kill me will make me stronger. And that is so true. It's
Mhm.
even in a literal sense right now, yes.
Yes.
And I'm not shy to bring scripture into this. You spoke of finding the lesson in the struggle. I say find the joy in the struggle.
Hmm.
One of my favorite verses is consider it all joy, right?
Yes.
When we
Yes.
are under these stresses, when we're being
Mm.
persecuted, when we're struggling,
Right.
because they're lessons. It's for our strengthening, as your hubby says.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I think it says whether base or bound, whether I'm in a good place or a bad place. I shouldn't be. We were saying the other day, James had mentioned about being bipolar Christians. We shouldn't be going up and down based on the weather and based on what we see. There's a consistency that needs to be built in us because the world will always be going up and down and up and down and up and down. What do we do to find that place that we're standing on the rock, where we discover the rock
Hmm.
and we stand there firmly and we're not swayed to and fro by what comes at us? Now that's not easy.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's Look. I say a lot about the Bible. It's the relationship that's there is the simplest thing ever, but it's the hardest thing for humans, as we are the humans we are, to embrace.
Yeah.
It's like here we are. Here it is. This is your gift. You can have it, but we usually don't trust that we truly can or that we deserve it.
Isn't that so ironic?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have these beautiful, abundant gifts,
Yes.
talents,
Yes.
abilities, and we, many people, I should say, live their lifetime fighting that.
Yes. And doubting it.
Yes.
The thing that we're supposed to share with the world, our greatest treasure, is a thing that comes so natural to us that we don't usually value it because we assume everyone else has that same diamond inside of them. And why aren't
Right.
they just using it? So we end up complaining about why aren't they using it? Why don't they just do it? Like, because that's natural to you. They don't know and don't have the information, don't have the background. They weren't created to do that.
Yes. It's so ironic because this is why I love having conversations with you folks. If you're just tuning in, this is CLBLive.tv. We're here with Pastor Regyna Cooper. We're talking about creating your new now. And when I have conversations with this powerful woman, it's like looking in a mirror because she is like reflecting something to me real time every week since I've resumed these broadcasts. Since my dream was at the beginning of May after my February return and all my plans, and I was knocked down to the ground like nope. And so I was inspired through meditation to continue to host these conversations. And I wasn't prepared, I wasn't ready, and I said I was told it doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is the conversation. And so I'm being obedient, but every single week, bar none, on Sunday, it is a struggle. And folks, yesterday I had the audacity to email this woman, be like, you know what? I think we can just push this off for a week. Are you okay with that? And of course, being Mother's Day, she was busy. She didn't see the email. And I saw that as a sign like, nope, you're not getting off the hook. So even doing this, because a lot of people may look and see and say, oh, she's doing this and I have the same struggles. I experience the same struggles. But the key
Yes.
is pushing through. So now we're getting into that how. We're at the half hour already.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is
We
a
always have
great
fun.
conversation so far. This is a great conversation. And now we're leading into that how. What is it and how is it that we push through these fears and these struggles and these tests? Thank you for that. These trials. James, he shared the actual scripture because it went out my head. How do we navigate that to actually continue on this path that's meant for us?
We decide how we're going to respond. If
Hmm.
I have learned nothing else in this journey, it's all about our response to something. It is so if you're going, so everyone's talking about the new normal and when things get back to normal or what it is. Okay, well, time didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Everything kept moving. So we're going to go on this platform. We're going to walk up to this train platform and you're going to decide which way you're going to go. Are you going to be upset that your train is taking a little longer to get there or that you had to run to get on that train because that's the one you wanted to catch? But it is how you're going to respond and making a decision for what you want to do and what you believe God is telling you to do in your life. We've all had things that's like, I really believe I should be doing this, or I've always wanted to do this. we have more time than ever to sit down and write that plan. Write the plan and make it plain.
Ooh, Habakkuk, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So,
Um, hashtag bipolar Christian. That's like emblazoned on my brain right now. But go ahead.
so if we decide and we know where, so perfect example. Our son has been writing this book with a friend of his for a year, and we were pressing through, and then it got stuck, and we had some health issues. We had all these things going on, and then during this time, it's like I'm going to finish it. So I knew now I was publishing the book, so I had certain things I had to do also. It was like this is the perfect time to get it done, and we kept, it was getting closer, and we're almost there. We're almost there, but it's done, and he has his book now, and it's something that if he had been working all full time, the stress of getting all these things done at the same time, it may have taken a lot longer. But now that piece is done, and he's talking about the second book. What is it that is on that dream board that we all everyone has at some point done a dream board? This is what I want to do with my life for the next 5 years. It's not about I have to make it in that five, deciding the time frame of God, but it is about walking the steps out and saying yes to the next step He puts before you,
Yes.
and knowing that you are more than enough to stand in that place that He set there for you because it is yours.
Yes.
So getting out of a place of doubting that you are good enough, because we all, like just like you said, on Sunday you get that thing, I don't know if I want to do this. And we were sitting, I was thinking, oh, I don't know exactly what I want to say. And we were talking. I was like, you know what? I'm going to write down the title and God's going to do the rest. I'm showing up.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
is my response to the opportunity, is to show up. So that's what I would challenge everyone to do. When the opportunity presents itself, show up. You never know
Ding.
what's going to happen.
Ding, 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 ding. I love that answer. So the opportunity is not actually having to figure something out, know what to do. All we know is that we have this desire, and it's
Yes.
just showing up and allowing ourselves to be led, is what I'm
Yes.
hearing.
Yes. Some of the biggest failures in my life was me trying to decide I was going to do something this way, and this was the only way it was going to happen, was the way I decided it was going to happen.
Right.
It's like it causes more stress, more anxiety on how am I going to make it work.
Yes.
If God gave it to you, He put it in you, then it's His to bring you through it and to put you on that platform, because it's a shared journey, and that's the relationship. And we forget about that relationship a lot. But the shared journey is like He is walking with us, leading us, with the Holy Spirit as a perfect gentleman. If you say, I got this, it's like a kid tying a shoe. Mommy, I can tie
Mm.
it. It's going to take a little bit
It's like,
longer.
okay,
There you go. There you go.
let me let you learn your lesson.
Yes. Yes. Eventually you'll get it tied. I don't know, it'll be a knot. It might be difficult taking it out.
Right.
But,
It'll be a hot mess, but go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love you enough to say, you did an okay job. I'm going to teach you still. I'm not giving up on you.
I
He
love
loves us
that.
enough not to give up on us.
I love that. I love that analogy. It's so true. So it sounds like we're talking about surrender,
Yes.
letting go,
Trusting and surrender.
trusting.
I think that's the biggest lesson I've ever had to learn in my life, because I thought I did trust. And what I found is I believed, I could only trust as much as I could believe that God was and He could do what He said.
Yes.
A lot of us believe He can do for others, but we don't trust ourselves that we're a good enough part of the relationship.
Right.
Well, as Christians, we don't, that agreement was made between Jesus and God, because we jack it up if we had to be the ones to stay committed to it. So
I love you.
we are completely covered.
I have missed your conversations, our conversations, because you are such a breath of fresh air to me, and I'm sure a lot of listeners right now. The audience is on fire. So I'm going to share a couple of comments. Shay Sparks, welcome. I don't think I welcomed you to the broadcast. She loves that you said decide how to respond. Love that. Um, the Pastor Cooper number 2, because you number 1, honey. Pastor Cooper number 2. I love what he says here because this sings to my heart because creativity is one of the tenets of my philosophy. He says the creative process is a partnership between God and us. Love that. And then we have Jaleese Littlejohn, and she says she loves the shared journey, loves the analogy of the perfect gentleman too. Yes, yes. So, folks, you're watching CLBLive.tv. We're here with Pastor Regyna Cooper, and we are discussing the topic Create Your New Now. It's how to continue to move with confidence, trust, faith, and hope through these challenging times so that we can navigate and actually live now and not wait for
Yes.
some future time to continue living. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Oh, my heart's so full right now. I think I was just touched in your last comment about the Holy Spirit. Yes. So we've exercised the faith, we have trust, and we're taking that step. We're showing up. Now
Yes.
what?
Write
Now
it
what?
down. We have all this time. Be still and have that relationship. Have the conversation. Uh, Another thing I have learned is God will sit and He will listen to you, and you can come as raw and as honest as you are because we are
Yes.
His children. He
Yes.
wants the relationship. He wants the conversation. And if you sit and listen, He will show you the next step.
Yes.
And not in a rush in His timing, so that you can do it with the grace and the mercy that we have
Mm.
abundantly.
Mm. Be still and know that I am God is one of
Yeah.
my favorite, if not my favorite. Psalm 46:10. Close? Is it Psalm 46:10? Help
Look,
me,
I'm going to
Rhonda.
trust you. Look. The other Pastor Cooper has the telephone and the.
I'm sure he'll place it in the comments for
Yes, he does.
us.
Thank you. I so appreciate
Save
it.
our souls.
Yes.
Save my hashtag bipolar Christian self. Oh, I think Regina froze again. So, folks, I am so excited about this conversation tonight. Again, we're talking about Create Your New Now. Here you are, here you are. So, write it down, write it down, write it down, and have the conversation. And I believe that we have that time now. We have been
Yes.
afforded that time.
Yes. Like
Yes?
never before. Like never before. It's like you can't even say I have to go to church and I have to be in all these activities at church. You can't do that anymore.
Right.
It's like, so what? Sit down, read, pray, be still.
Yes.
God, what is next? Show
Yes.
me who I am in this next phase of this journey. A friend of ours, he had a course. I don't know if it's a course or a program called Reset, and it's
Mm.
truly like a place of reset.
Yes.
You're not. You don't have to be perfect in the launch, but you have to launch. The fear of what if you are here, like we said before, you're present today. We
Yes.
don't have time to worry about whether it will be me that gets sick. If you do get sick and you are one of the people that get better, if you haven't done anything, still what's next? As long as we are here, we have the next step. We
Yes.
have the next opportunity to
Yes.
walk in that place of I have a purpose. I have a calling. I make a difference. I think we forget about each of us are a member of the body. So each of us has a purpose, whether you're the digit, the arm, a strand of hair, whatever you are, everything has a purpose. And God, we need you to stand in that place of being authentic to who God is calling you to be because it makes a difference how we all operate.
Mm. It sure does. Oh, I love that. Mm. I didn't think I could love you anymore, my sister. But like you, I came to this conversation with a very open heart, no firm plans. I just had the introduction jotted down, but I didn't really have an outline
Yes,
for tonight. And thank you for playing with me on that, because you know that's
absolutely.
what bonded us in the first place, is
Yes.
our ability to trust and go with the flow. There's something that you just shared that touched my heart, that every week I have this moment where I'm like, what was I going to say? And this is one of those moments. James shared Psalm 46:10. So yay, I got it right. Be still and know that I am God. And yes, Habakkuk 2 verse 2. I'll actually put that on the screen to write it down, write the vision, make it plain. So it sounds like then taking action, being action oriented right now, is doing that self inventory and discovering or rediscovering the gifts, talents, and the purpose that we have here on this earth. Is that right?
Yeah. And that's the work, to believe you're worthy of what's inside of you. That if we believe the look, if we believe with our whole hearts, that's the mandate that Jesus died for us. If we know that he died for us, he rose, and that everything is he's paid the ultimate price. He's paid the price. There is no cost for us to live out our calling. No cost. It's been given to us freely. It's inside of us. It's just a matter of us seeing it and believing that it's
Yes.
there and it makes a difference. And
Yes.
I think that's the hardest thing, because the world has shown us through social media, through television, that unless you have all of this money and all this grandeur and all these things, you're not worthy. You're still
Right.
chasing something.
You're not
Like,
enough.
you're not enough. You're not
Yes.
enough. You
Yes.
know, and if nothing else, through this time, we're finding out we are worthy. We're making those connections. And I would say, if you have people that you want to reach out to now, it's never been, if someone comes into your heart, into your mind, call them. Just reach out. You don't know what
Yes.
they're going through at that moment. Just to say hello. Simple as that. And a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want people to think I'm just home, I'm doing nothing, and I have plenty of time to speak, and I really don't have that much time. Just as simple. I was thinking about you, wanted to say
Yes.
hello. Send a text.
Yes. And this is a time for that. This is a time
Yes,
for connection, which is
yes,
another tenet. I have three for my life's philosophy that was implanted upon my heart 10 years ago. And so connection is something that is really to me, one of the biggest lessons we're learning right now,
yes,
especially within the family structure.
yes.
For me, it has just been amazing to reconnect with my family, my siblings, my mom, my dad. You know, we're having real conversations, and we haven't really ever done that. Yeah.
And we were created for relationships.
Yes.
That's the ultimate relationship with God, relationship with one another. We need relationships, and a lot
Yes.
of people don't value, even when you walk outside. If you're living by yourself in a state where you just moved and you don't know anyone, when you walk outside, you don't look. I know with social distancing and everything, you can still smile, you can still wave. People can still see the twinkle in your eye over the mask.
Yes. Yes, they
We can still
can. Yes, they
engage.
can.
So,
So, yes, connection definitely is a part of the process that we're learning. We have a young lady here that is sharing something really powerful that I'd like to share with you. Jaleese Littlejohn. She says, show me, in quotes, show me who I am in the next phase of this journey. I'd like to share something. I've taken the Ohio bar exam a few times after passing California. The reason I haven't passed is because I don't want to. I took a break, but somehow came across it again yesterday. The deadline to apply was today. I said if I was moved, I would. If I wasn't moved, then I wouldn't. I don't believe I was meant to try to take it. I believe it was a test that I finally passed.
and
Wow.
amen.
Amen to that. Wow. Thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
Jaleese. Yeah. So yes, there. You know, we're all having experiencing, I should say, a higher consciousness, a higher awareness that life is bigger than our little universe that we've been living in. Many of
Yeah.
us, I should say. There's more to life than just the everyday humdrum to work, back, cook. Everything was so rushed, and we finally have an opportunity to slow down and
Yeah.
actually align with divine time, which we have just a few minutes. This is my question for you, Pastor Cooper.
Okay.
What you mentioned a little earlier, that it's, slowing down enough to have these conversations with God and to be in step with God's time. Where do we discern the line between God's time and taking action? Because I've had people roll their eyes at me when I say that I'm on God's time. I'm waiting on God. So what's your thoughts on waiting on God and waiting on his timing?
When I find that I've waited on God, there has been a peace that initially, when you're first doing it, there's total frustration, total transparency. There is frustration because it's against what we believe. We
Yes.
believe we should be working, we should be taking action, we should be running at it. And the difference in how it comes about, it's like the opportunities roll up on you. Blessings will overtake you. You don't have to chase your blessings down.
Oh, yes.
So as you're walking along the path, if you see something you're going after, you can walk along the journey to get to that place where you believe you should be going. But don't be surprised when there's an off ramp. And when God says take that off ramp, take it, because that prize you were trying to chase, or that thing you were looking for, actually will probably be there. And not only will it bless you, it will bless others along the way. So God's timing will allow you to find your success. It will bless others in the journey because they will see what you went through to achieve it in the patience and with Him. And it's never just for you.
Mm.
I've noticed that everything that we do that God has blessed and God has said go through, and I am being so honest and transparent right now. It is a journey, and it can be a struggle when you're initially, because it's so against what the world has told you it should be.
Yes. There's a lot of
Yeah.
unlearning that needs to happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because we're taught you got to get your hustle on. You got to, it's like being still does not mean inaction. It
Oh,
is actually taking more action to be still and hear and let it process. So when you move in strength and power and knowing that nothing can stop you from that path that you've been placed on. I in the Queen's Legacy, I wrote about the gems, the stepping stones that have been laid before us. But when you get to your stone, someone else may have laid it, but you are on it at that time, at that moment, for that circumstance. And it will make a difference that you're there. And someone else will come along and they will see the whole perspective will be different. It'll be the same stone,
yeah.
but their journey might take them to the left where yours took you to the right. But the mosaic that it creates, because we all experienced it, makes a difference.
Beautiful.
So I don't know if that
Beautiful.
really answered
It
people who are
did.
like, okay,
You touched me. You touched my heart.
okay.
What resonated the most for me in your answer is, waiting on God does not mean inaction. To
Yes,
me, it means aligned action.
yes,
And so it's listening, quieting ourselves so that we can receive the guidance on the steps we are to be taking rather than the steps we think we should be
yes,
taking, is what I'm hearing.
yes. That's surrender and obedience. They go together. Surrender to his timing and then obedient when he tells us to
To
move.
move. And like you said, that is the challenging piece, is
Mhm.
having that faith to make that move. And
Yes.
the beautiful thing though is, and I've experienced this every week since this crazy coronavirus has hit our souls earthwide, is every Sunday, I mentioned earlier, every Sunday I have this crazy struggle of broadcasting. And after the broadcast on Monday, after I push through and take the step, and it's happening right now live, I realize why. I realize why I am instructed to do this. you know.
And I thank you because exactly what we're saying, because it's touching not only you, but it's touching all of us. Because this
Amen.
is a blessing for me to be here. James is picking on me because, at 8:30, I'm almost
It's
like
bedtime.
comatose. And I am bright eyed,
I'm
wide
proud of
eyed, and
you.
ready to go. No caffeine, just water.
Listen, I am a night owl. And so when I was offered this time slot, I jumped on it. And so for so many years, society has been trying to make me a morning person. Well, I am flipping the script and
There
making
you
my
go.
people night owls like me. But I am so pleased. I'm so honored that you're here tonight. The wisdom that you're sharing is very timely. I had no idea what we were going to discuss tonight, but I did know for sure that it would be information that we could apply immediately and it would lift our souls, restore some hope to our day. Because, like I said, it's a daily process that we're going through right now. So, thank you. Thank you as well for answering the call and
God is
setting your
good.
alarm clock just
Thank
a little bit later. So we have, thank you everyone in the audience as well. Shay Sparks, Jaleese Littlejohn, thank you for being transparent with
you.
us
Yes.
tonight.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your journey and for listening and being obedient to your path. Pastor James Cooper, number two, Pastor Cooper, number two, thank you for being here as well. Yes, he says rest is a verb, an action word. Ooh, I must put that on the screen so we can capture that eternally. Rest is a verb, an action word. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it is a part of the program. Being at rest, being still is definitely a part of the program. So, Pastor Regyna Cooper, what are your parting words for our audience tonight? What's on your heart to share with us? And also for those who are listening who are being touched by you directly, how do we get in touch with you?
Okay. What I am thinking, what's coming to me right now is receive the gift of the present that is given to us daily. Embrace it and hold on to it because it's precious. And do what God is instructing you to do with it because it will expand exponentially for you and for everyone around you.
Mm.
Um, you can find me on Facebook at Regyna Cooper. Um, our website is maxagroup.com. And I think that's pretty much, if you really want to get in contact with me, find me on Facebook.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, definitely.
And in your lower third, I had your Instagram and your Facebook usernames there as well. And for those of you who are watching live or watching the replay, in the description right under this video, you will also see Regyna's link to Maxa Group as well.
Thank you.
My love.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I'm so glad we did this. I'm so
I am
glad we
too.
had this time and
We didn't chicken out. We didn't chicken out. Because you know how we do, right? Or we try
I'll talk
to.
to you in the morning.
We try to. But thank you for being here. I love you to the core.
You
You have
too.
been such a beautiful, bright light in my life over the last 10 years, almost 10 years. And thank you for your wisdom tonight. And thank you for all that you do, not just for me, but for everyone who you impact. You are a gift.
Thanks so much. I love you and I thank you again for having me. And I so look forward to all that is coming through you because we tell you all the time, that bright, brilliant personality that just comes across on screen, it's meant for the world.
Thank you. I appreciate your words and I receive them. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, every week I say the same thing. Where does the time go? Right? But boy, was this a fantastic conversation. I am so thrilled that I said yes and I was obedient tonight because this conversation was juicy, juicy, juicy. I hope you took a lot of notes because I sure did. I will be watching the replay myself. so I can absorb and receive what is meant for me through this conversation. I pray that you did the same. The replay for this episode, as well as all episodes of CLB Live, are available on demand at CLBLive.tv. This particular one, right after we broadcast. How cool is that? I would also like to encourage you to share. There's so many souls that need hope, light, uplifting. And so I'm praying that this conversation may help contribute towards that. So if you are willing, please share with a loved one, a friend, a colleague, anyone that you think may need to hear these words that were shared tonight. And I thank you. Those of you watching on CLBLive.tv, thank you for playing full out tonight with the conversation. You know that warms my heart. And for those of you watching on WLVSradio.com, wherever you are in the world, we are always connected through spirit. We're always connected through faith. And we are experiencing this together. We may not be in the same experiencing the same thing through this pandemic, but we are all going through it together. And I believe that it is collectively that is what's going to get us through this. However, my encouragement to you is don't wait to live tomorrow, the next day, or the day after that. The time to live is right now. We are here. We are now. We are breathing. And we are here for a purpose. Okay? So with all of that said, I'm going to sign out. Love and light to you. One love. Make it a fantastic evening. Stay tuned for the announcement for next week's show. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Take care.